What up, what up, what up? We back on the channel today with another banger. And today, I'll be going over my tier ranking for all the starting QBs and I guess a couple of the backups in the NFL. So, without further ado, let's get into it. All right, let's start things off with the Arizona Cardinals QB. Good old Kyler Murray. All right, I Kyler Murray's a good QB. He's a really good QB at times. He's sometimes elite, but he's also sometimes turnover worthy and sometimes very mid. So I think I'll put him in the B tier. He's a good QB, but he has shown flashes of elite potential. It's just he needs to put it all together. And I really have high hopes for him in the future. So I'll put him in the B tier. Next, we have good old Matthew Stafford. All right. This one's interesting because I think in terms of ranking the QBs, you also have to include like age, contract, everything included, right? He's a little bit older, but he's still really solid. So I think I'd put him in B tier, you know? If he was a little bit younger, maybe like A tier. But he's still right now a top 12 to 15 QB in the league. So he's still really good. So that's why I'm going to put him in the B tier. Now we got probably the most like surprising, really good QB this year, like Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold was not supposed to be good this year, but he's been balling. He's had a career year in Minnesota. Kevin O'Connell is genuinely the quarterback whisperer. He can make any QB look great. And now the Vikings have a tough decision. Do you keep Darnold? Do you extend him? Do you let him go? Do you trade him? What's the thing? So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what they do, but Darnold's been balling. And off of this year alone, he's been A tier for sure. Like, he's been absolutely elite and electric. So, yeah, I'll just do it based off of this year as well, instead of doing it, like, career-wise. So, yeah, off of this year, Darnold's been easily a top 10 QB. So, A tier for Darnold. Now we get to, like, an interesting one. Like, what do I do with this guy, Like, because here's the thing. Derek Carr, on one hand, he has his moments, right? His moments of brilliance. He has moments where he looks like a top 10 QB. He also has moments where you wonder why he's even a starting quarterback. So I think I'll put him in the C tier. He's not like this like overly like amazing QB. He's not like something like says generational, right? But he's also not something trash, So I don't know. He's probably average at best. Spencer Rattler, he's got solid potential. It's just I don't know if he's the answer, if I'm completely honest. I don't know if I can even put him in D or F though. He's a rookie, so it's kind of hard to grade rookies. So I'll just put him in the. This feels rough. This feels bad, but I'd probably put him in the D tier. I don't know. Again, he has potential. We'll see what the Saints do with their first round pick. We'll see what they do with Spencer Rattler. So. But again, I think, off of this year, off of what he's played like, probably D tier. I think he's lucky I'm not giving him an F. There's not many F QBs other than what I'm going to get to later. Daniel Jones, another D tier QB. This one was easy to do because Daniel Jones was pretty bad this year. Again, how much of that is on Daniel Jones versus the Giants just being incompetent? I don't know, but he had a really rough tenure other than that 1 year with Daboll coming in as a first-year head coach and that defense being great and the team just for somehow out of nowhere winning a playoff game. But other than that, he's had a pretty disappointing tenure, so got to put him in the D tier. Next, we get to the MVP front runner, according to some people. I don't know. Will Josh Allen win MVP or will Lamar win his second straight? Or is it going to Saquon? Again, we don't know, but me personally, I think Saquon deserves it. As long as he gets 100 yards next week, I think it's 101. He's going to break almost a 40-year-old rushing record, which is insane. How is that not MVP worthy? Like, that's insane to me. But I don't know. MVP is a quarterback award, so it's probably going to go to Josh Allen because Lamar won last year and already has two, so. It's kind of the same thing with like the NBA, you have like voters fatigue. So But yeah, enough ranting. Josh Allen, nah, he's S tier. What am I saying? He's one of the best QBs in the league. For S tier, I'll put like only like the top 3 to 5, I think, QBs. But Josh Allen definitely deserves to be S tier, especially this year with no Stephon. It's been basically no problem for him. He's been feeding that rock to everyone. He's been like spreading the love. Shakir looks great. Keon Coleman looks good. The rest of the team looks good. Josh Allen's an elite QB. I don't think I should be like talking about it for this long. He's great. Next, we get to a polarizing QB. Now, what to do with Jalen Hurts? I think he's a really good QB. He's really underrated, honestly. Like, everyone hates on him for being a solid QB. You know, he's not like Josh Allen, you know, but he's also not been trash either, you know, like some people have him. So I think I'll put him in the A tier. Go A tier for now. He's a really good QB. He's shown flashes of elite potential, especially that 1 year when he led the Eagles to the Super Bowl. Last year, he kind of dealt with injuries and the team just being essentially falling off a cliff. This year, he's been really good too. Again, it's just the injuries have slowed him down a little bit this year. But when healthy, Jalen Hurts is a great dual threat QB. He's honestly got a solid arm. He's a pretty solid passer as a QB. I feel like he's really underrated. It's just I don't know if he's going to be A tier by the end of this list. Might have to drop him down to B tier, but for now, he's an A tier QB. Now we got my my team's former franchise savior, Kenny Pickett. I'll stick him in the D tier. He's not that good of a QB, you know. He's actually that's probably a little bit harsh. Put him in the C tier. He was always a mid QB for the Steelers. He's been a mid QB for the Eagles. He's a lot more weapons there. He looked solid this past week with Hurts being out until he got hurt. And then Tanner McKee low-key lit it up. But Kenny Pickett's just all right. He's all right. Now, we move on to one of the most, like, intriguing, like, QBs. One of the most polarizing QBs, Brock Purdy. You know, it's just like, where do you stick him? You know, where do you put him in the rankings? Is it that he's just carried by the system, Kyle Shanahan being a great offensive mind, his weapons being great, or is he actually a good QB? Or, sorry, an elite QB? I don't know. I think it's just kind of somewhere in the middle. Like, remember, Jimmy G led this team to a Super Bowl, but Brock Purdy's clearly a better QB than Jimmy G, right? So I think I'll put him in the B tier for now, but I think I'd definitely take Brock Purdy over Kyler Murray and Matthew Stafford any day of the week. It's just, I don't know. With Jalen Hurts and Brock Purdy, they're probably around the same level. So I might have to drop on Jalen Hurts later in the video, but we'll get to that. But Brock Purdy, he's a really great QB. It's just, I think his weapons definitely elevate him to a higher standard than he actually is at, like at a QB level, right? Now we get to Geno Smith, who's probably like the most infuriating QB to watch. Because one play, he'll be throwing dimes. The next play, he'll be throwing goal line interceptions. So, one of the most infuriating QBs to watch. Very Jameis Winston-esque. But probably throw him in the C tier. Solid QB. When he's on, he's like a top 15, top 12 QB in the league. But, bro, he is so inconsistent that I can't just like put him, like, I can't rank him about any of these guys, you know? If I put him in this own tier, he's definitely above Derek Carr or Kenny Pickett, but he's not above any of these guys. So I think C tier is perfect for him. Kirk Cochains, he's fallen off a cliff. It's unfortunate because last year, the start of the season before he got hurt, Kirk was on an MVP pace. Tears his Achilles, comes to the Falcons, and he starts off slow, but then has a really nice 3 or 4 game, 5 game stretch, and has completely fallen off the edge of the cliff the past couple of games. So, and now he's got a bench for Michael Penix. So I don't know. It's really not been a good stretch of games for Kirk. And honestly, I don't know about like where he's going to go next year, right? Because I don't think Atlanta's going to bring him back. They're probably going to release him. Going to be a huge cap hit for them. But where does he even sign? Like, what QB needs Kirk's like play right now? Well, who needs Kirk as a QB right now? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see, but as of right now, he's been a D-tier QB based off of this year. Now we'll go to another really great QB, one of the best QBs in the league this year, Baker Mania. Baker easily, instantly goes into A tier. He's been balling this year. He's been proving the Browns wrong for the past couple of years. But then again, when have the Browns ever gotten anything right? Baker's just been balling. And I'd say if Mike Evans and Chris Godwin didn't get hurt in that stretch of games, the Bucs would be a lock for the playoffs right now, even though they probably still will make it. Baker would probably have better stats, might be in the MVP race, but Baker's just been cooking, so he's easily been an A-tier QB this year. Proved all the haters wrong, and to an extent, including myself, right? Like, I gave up on Baker after his Cleveland and Carolina stint, but he didn't give up on himself, so shout out to him for that. Next, we got one of the most exciting rookies in the league, probably like ever. Jayden Daniels, he's been electric. And as a rookie, I'll put him in the B tier for now. As a rookie, he's been really good. He's been electric on the ground, really great through the air. He had a couple games stint while battling injuries that he wasn't that good, but bro is the definition of clutch. So many end-of-game plays where he just makes a play to win the game. Obviously, highlighting that Hail Mary against the Bears that just tore the hearts out of the Bears, and ever since, they have not been the same. But Jayden Daniels is amazing, man. He's going to win Rookie of the Year. In my opinion, Brock Bowers deserves it more, but again, it's a QB award. It's a QB league, so he's going to win it. And it's deserved. It's just I wish Brock Bowers would get the love that he deserves. But yeah, Jayden, he's been electric. Another electric dual threat QB. Lamar, he's probably the best QB. He's probably been the best QB this year. He's not going MVP over Josh just because he won it last year. But honestly speaking, he didn't deserve the MVP last year, so we'll let it slide. But Lamar's been electric. He's easily been an S-tier QB. Like, I don't know why I was playing around with that, but he's been amazing. Treat to watch. Probably the... I don't know. Yeah, probably the best dual threat QB I've ever watched. He's just so, like, electric as a runner. Really great as a passer now. He's gotten a lot better in terms of passing. He's just been really good. So, Lamar's definitely S tier. Now we get to Joseph Burrow. I don't know. Joseph Burrow, he's been amazing. You know, it's just like, it's tough for him that, like, he was put in such a bad spot with his terrible defense. If Joe Burrow had a good defense, he's probably the MVP. So he's just been amazing. He's definitely S tier. Like, it's not even a question, right? Like, you can't argue that. Now we get to one of the worst QBs ever. Yeah, ever. Deshaun Watson. He's F tier. Not only is he a horrible person, but take the character out of it, he's a horrible QB on the field. Like, he was having one of the worst QB seasons statistically ever until he got hurt. And he was essentially wasting the talent of the Browns. Jameis Winston came in and beat the Ravens and was playing a lot better than Deshaun Watson did. So, again, Jameis, C tier, we'll throw him in there. Jameis has the same issue that Geno Smith does. He makes really great plays, but then also makes really dumb, boneheaded mistakes. So many interceptions. That's why he got benched. He shouldn't have gotten benched. DTR is not good, bro. DTR is not a good QB. But, again, it's understandable the Browns want to tank, but Jameis was doing a lot better than DTR. So, yeah, away from the Browns' horrible mess of a QB situation. Bodacious Nix. He's had a really solid rookie year, honestly speaking. Like, after his first couple of games, people were writing him off as a bust. People were clowning the Broncos for taking him. But he's turned it around completely, and he's put up a really respectable season, you know? I'm really excited to see where the future goes for him. The sky's the limit, you know? He's got really great accuracy, really solid athleticism, honestly. Sneaky athleticism, you might say. But I'm excited to see where he goes from here under a Sean Payton offense. I expect him to limit his turnover mistakes in the coming years, and he's going to be a great player. So shout out to the Broncos for taking Bo Nix. Now we go to CJ Stroud, who has had probably one of the biggest sophomore slumps ever. Like, he's been a lot worse in essentially every stat. And yeah, the offensive line's definitely been decimated by injuries and has been a lot worse than last year, but still. And he obviously, like, losing Tank Dell, Stephon doesn't help, and also Nico Collins for a lot of the year. It doesn't help, but he has regressed, so I think it hurts to put him down. Like, nah, I can't put I can't put CJ Stroud there. No, CJ Stroud's definitely better than all these players. I'll put him in the B tier. I'm expecting a lot more from CJ next year. And I don't know. We'll see. It's just I think the big issue with him was like being able to overcome the issues in the rest of the offense, and he just hasn't been able to do that. But I still expect big things from CJ. He's going to be a great QB for years to come. Just a little slump right now. And now, next, we got good old Bryce Young. Okay, this man is really good. Yeah, no, he is really good. He was really bad at the start of the year. I think everyone kind of just like hooked on to the fact that he was really bad his rookie year and bad for the first stretch of games this year. But after getting benched for Andy Dalton and coming back, he's been a lot better. There's a lot of potential for this kid. Why did I say kid? I'm younger than him. But essentially, Bryce Young's got a lot of potential, man. He's really young. The offense is slowly starting to figure things out. Chuba Hubbard's a great player. The Xavier Legette has a lot of potential. The rest of the offense is like starting to look really good. So, I don't know. Bryce Young, he's got a lot of potential. Based off of this year alone, I'd probably put in the C tier. He's definitely looked a lot better as the games have went on, and I'm really excited to see what the Panthers do in the draft, and essentially how Bryce Young rebounds next year. Really solid player, man. Everyone was balling a bust, laughing at him, giving up on him, but shout out to him. Now we get to an interesting QB prospect. Essentially, he's basically a prospect right now. Anthony Richardson, right? He's one of the biggest boomer bust players ever, right? Like, he can make a boneheaded play, but he can also make a 70-yard throw off his back foot like he did in week 1, It's insane. But I think I probably have to put him, like, in the D tier for now. And it hurts, but just based off of what I've seen from him this year, he just hasn't been amazing. And I know he's a project, right? He has a lot of potential. The sky's the limit for this guy. This guy has the potential to be a top 3 to 5 QB in the league. He's got insane arm talent. If he can just get his accuracy down, he will be like essentially like a Josh Allen type player, right? Elite arm talent, really great athleticism. Honestly, even more athletic than Josh Allen, maybe even more than Lamar. Like, AR is a dog. It's just he needs to figure it out. And just based off of this year, I'll have to put him in the D tier, Oh, and I just realized that was not Josh Allen earlier. I was just glazing someone else. All right. Is that Tommy DeVito? Oh, my gosh. Okay, Tommy DeVito. I love the memes, but he is not S tier. So let's bring him down all the way to D tier. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of embarrassing. But Josh Allen, again, I glazed him earlier. We'll put him in S tier. All right, Trevor Lawrence. Trevor. All right, Trevor Lawrence, again, was considered a generational prospect. Jags tanked for him. Signed him to a massive contract before this year. It hasn't looked that good this year for him. But I will say he was decent, like considering the offensive line he was given. Doug Peterson not being that great of a coach right now. Shout out the cops. And I just think he was dealt shitty cards, in all honesty, right? But he's still a solid player, right? Like, I don't know. I think I'll put him C tier. We'll go C tier. He has a lot to prove, in all honesty. Kind of like Bryce Young in that sense. They both have a lot to prove. Obviously, Lawrence has proven a lot more than Bryce Young, but you could honestly say Bryce Young looked better this year than Trevor Lawrence. But, yeah, so it's a tough place for Mr. Sunshine to be. But Mac Jones, yeah, D tier. There's been some stretches he has looked good. But, again, overall, he's just been pretty bad. Again, that rookie year by Mac Jones will be one of the greatest one-hit wonders for any QB ever, man. He was really good his rookie year for the Pats, but after that, fell off a cliff. Patrick Mahomes. Okay. Now, don't come at me, but this year he hasn't really been like the best QB in the league, like previous years, right? He's still been solid, but he hasn't been as good as the past. So as a result, I'll drop him down to A tier, Again, it's like you can't really put him at number 1 when he hasn't been like elite like previous years. Like, yes, all time, if we had to all time rank these QBs, he's easily S tier. Definitely the number one like player out of all these QBs, right? Other than like Aaron Rodgers, maybe. But yeah, it's just off of this year alone, A tier might be a little bit too high, honestly. I'll probably put him in the B tier, right? Like he hasn't been that good. Like honestly, the offense hasn't looked that good. They haven't been clicking. The defense has saved them in a lot of games. Luck has saved them in a lot of games. The devil magic, I don't even know what it is at this point, but the Chiefs keep winning somehow. And it's not really been just because of Mahomes like previous years, right? So I'll drop it down to B tier for now. But again, if we're going all time, he's obviously S tier, right? Now, we got the Raiders brothers, Gardner Minshew and AOC. Both of them are like D tier. Neither of them are great QBs. The Raiders will be drafting a QB next year, maybe. Actually, no. Maybe forget about it because they just won 2 straight games. So they will not be having a high draft position. They might end up taking a project later in the draft, but yeah, both these guys are not the answer for the future. AOC has some really good things to like about his like play. It's just too many mistakes for him. Gardner Minshew, again, was going to be a bridge QB. He was never supposed to be like the long-term solution. So both of them are in the D tier. Jay Herbo. Okay. Justin Herbert, again, proving once again why he was drafted so high, given that massive contract. People will be like, oh yeah, but his counting stats aren't really all there. Remember, Jim Harbaugh is our head coach now. And as a Michigan fan, I know he loves running the ball, right? So the Chargers are essentially a run-first offense at first, right? And then you use that run to go with the play action, right? So Herbert hasn't had as much passing attempts as he's had in the past, right? That's why his counting stats are down. But as a QB, he's been playing brilliantly, right? Hitting his open receivers, making the throws that only he can make in all honesty, right? Like, obviously you have your people like Chris Collinsworth glazing Mahomes all the time, right? But he makes Mahomes-esque plays that Mahomes couldn't even make. His arm talent and his like accuracy are just insane. And now he's slowly bringing it all together, right? And that's what we love to see. Shout out Jim Harbaugh, shout out the Chargers. Justin Herbert is definitely in that S tier. Now we go on to the Dolphins. Tyler Huntley, just throw him in here, bro. He's not that good of a QB. Throw him the D tier. Tua. Again, concussions are a massive issue for him. Brain injuries are a massive issue for him. But as a pure QB, he's pretty good. I'd say B. Like, yeah, he's probably B tier. Maybe he'll move to A tier, but very accurate. He has a solid deep ball. Everyone clowns on him for like not having that arm strength, but he has solid accuracy and arm strength for the deep ball, right? Again, the issue with injuries brings him down probably to B tier, right? Otherwise, he'd probably be A tier for sure, right? It's just, again, what did they say again? Availability is the best ability, right? He doesn't really have that availability as much because of how, like, many times he's been concussed and had brain injuries. So, put him in the B tier. Next, we got one of the more promising rookies out of this draft. Not Caleb Williams, Drake May. Drake May will put in the C tier. I like what I've been seeing from Drake May. With essentially the worst wide receiver room and weapons out of any rookie QB, he's been pretty good. He's excelled considering that Patriots don't have a good offense. And I'm excited to see what the Patriots do in the draft this upcoming year. As of now, they had the number 1 pick, so maybe they get Travis Hunter, or maybe they trade down. Who knows? But the Pats should be looking good for the future. They have found their franchise QB. I'm confident in that. Caleb Williams. I don't know. Based off of how he started, probably a D tier. The middle stretch of the season, he looked really good. B tier. He's kind of cooled off since, so we'll put him in the C tier. Along with Drake May. He's got hella potential. The sky's the limit for this kid. Why did I say kid again? I'm a kid. But, again, he is really good. It's just the big issue with him is holding onto the ball for way too long. And, yes, the O-line for the Bears is awful. It's horrendous. Despite the fact that they put money into it, it's still horrible. It's just he also has been holding onto the ball for way too long and not getting rid of the ball when he needs to. And also, the Bears have a horrible coaching staff. Everyone needs to be let go, fired, get them out of here. Bring in a new staff completely. Get a competent head coach. Not Matt Eberflus, who, good thing they fired him, but the rest of the staff isn't good either. Caleb Williams will be good in the future. I kind of expected him to have like some hiccups in his rookie year, right? It's just I didn't expect it to be this bad for the Bears, right? Like they're somehow like on the same level as last year. It's crazy, but the Bears should be good in the future. Again, keyword should, because you never know with the Bears. They're cursed at this point. But Jacoby Brissett, D tier, serviceable veteran, can play a couple snaps here and there. Better as a bridge QB in all honesty. I'd consider him kind of along the same levels as like someone like a kind of like Gardner Minshew, but a little bit better than Gardner Minshew probably. But yeah. Jets, A-Rod, it's time to hang it up, old man. It's time to hang it up. He's had some flashes this year. He's shown like his old self, but way too many inconsistent stretches, taken way too many sacks, does not have the same athleticism at all. I mean, should be expected. He's like 40, but even outside of that, he's turned the ball over way too many times. He's washed. It's time to say it. He's washed, you know. The Jets will probably move on from him this year, not this year, but like in the offseason. They'll try to find their future QB. I feel bad for Jets fans, right? Like you've been going through hell essentially for the past like 10 plus years, you know? So hope they figure it out soon. Next, you got the Steelers QBs, Russ and Justin. Justin's probably in the C tier. He's showed really good flashes. Also showed some inconsistency and accuracy. In terms of athleticism, he's definitely like A tier. But again, as a pure passer, he needs to get better. Maybe learn from Russ a little bit on that deep ball. But Russ has been B tier. He started off really well. Was honestly probably like A tier, but he's cooled off in the past couple of weeks. But still a solid QB. And it's really interesting how Russ leaving the Broncos has kind of benefited both teams. The Steelers have gotten better, and the Broncos have gotten better, you know? So, really interesting situation. But Russ has been solid. B tier. Next, we got Mayo Man himself. William Levis. This man, kind of like Jameis Winston, he turns the ball over way too many times, you know? There's stretches of times where he just is brilliant. Has a great deep ball, solid accuracy. He's pretty decently athletic. But then other times he just turns into Nathan Peterman. So, again, D tier is probably where he's going to be. He lost his starting job to Mason Rudolph, who's next, who's also kind of D tier. Not really that great of a QB either. But Will Levis, he's probably not going to start again in Tennessee. Maybe not even like in the future. I don't know. He's still really young. So some team's probably going to give him a shot. It's just he needs to bring his turnovers down ASAP. Next, we got Dakota Prescott. When healthy, Dak was doing pretty solid. The team was bad around him. Like the defense was horrible. They had no run game. They still have no run game. But I don't know. Dak at times was bad. It's just we've seen Dak in the past, so that's why I'm hesitant to put him in the B tier, because in the past he's been like an A tier QB, right? But I'll put him in the B tier. He also got hurt, obviously. He's out for the year, but we'll keep him in the B tier for now. Cooper Rush actually is a solid, I gotta stop doing that. He's actually a very solid QB, you know? Put him in the C tier. Probably at the end of C tier for sure. But he's shown flashes of potential, you know? He's not potential, but you know what I mean, right? He's a really solid backup, someone who can come in for an injured QB, play decently well to give the team a chance to win. But again, he's not really all that. So I think C tier is probably the perfect place to put him. Because I put him in C tier, let's put Mason Rudolph here too. He's kind of the same way as Cooper Rush, you know, solid backup. Now we got the goofball himself, Jared Goff. Yeah, he's F tier. No, I'm kidding. Jared Goff's been playing brilliant. Bro, I gotta stop doing. But yeah, Jared Goff, A tier, easily. He's been really good. As someone that kind of didn't like his game as much with the Rams, he's completely turned around for the Lions. He's a really good QB. I can't really say elite. He's not really like these other QBs up here, right? He's still a good QB. He can win you games. He can lead a really successful team around him. And he's been great this year, in all honesty, for the Lions. So shout out to Jared Goff. Now we get to the Packers. We got Mr. Malik Willis. We'll put him in the C tier. He has a lot of potential, man. Coming out of Liberty, I really wanted my Steelers to draft him to Kenny Pickett instead. I guess you decide who's better now, but a lot of potential. And I like the decision for the Packers to pick him up because Jordan Love gets hurt. Willis comes in, looks pretty solid. So I like his potential in the future. It's just I don't know what the Packers are going to do with him, you know? Now, Jordan Love will bring him up to the A tier easily. He's been a great QB. He's a Toyota Thon merchant. But no, Jordan Love's great. He was turning the ball over a lot after his injury once he came back, but he's really settled in recently. The Packers are going to be a top playoff seed. Well, obviously not top four because they win their division, but they'll be a great playoff team, and I'm really excited to see what they do in the playoffs. So those are all the QBs. Might move someone up or down. Let's see. I can't. I just can't put Dak in the B tier, man. He's been no, but Mahomes. Yeah, I don't know. I'll keep Dak in the B tier for this year. Because yes, obviously previous years he's A tier. Mahomes obviously previous years is S tier, but again we're talking about now this season alone. So as a result, we'll probably put him there. And I think that's about it. I'm probably not going to move anyone up or down. So again, that's my tier list or tier ranking. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. Am I right? Am I wrong? Whatever it is, just put it down in the comments below. Once again, signing off for now. Until next time.